I don't even know how to say hello. My ball disappeared. I knew it.
You lost
Where
your
did it go?
balls.
Come back here.
Hey all, welcome to Behind the Lens for another episode. Today we'll be interviewing Cripsy. Cripsy, would you like to introduce yourself for those who may not know you?
Yeah, sure. Hello, I'm Cripsy. I'm the creator of the Smile Room and also V.R.S, one or two of many VRChat horror worlds. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is it.
perfect. Now Cripsy, why did you choose this world?
I like it. It's very bright and colorful, and yeah, it's very comfy. It's actually my homeworld for like a few months now. Since I released V.R.S, I wanted to like have this area as like my own homeworld. I'm planning to make it public actually at some point, but I still need to like fix a few things. So yeah, this is a
And
comfy like homeworld.
and does this is one of the rooms in the Smile Room for those who may recognize the kind of background and imagery.
No, this was like part of V.R.S actually.
I,
That's fine.
I remember a padded room and that was it, but fair enough.
Yeah, there was one in Smile Room 2, like not Smile Room 2, but like in Smile Room Chapter 1, where you were in like a playground and it had like the same floors and stuff. That was part of it, yes. But this room was like in V.R.S as one of the first levels that you enter. Yeah.
And what did you have to kind of do in this level specifically?
To be fair, you have to do nothing. You just stand around here. It's a test level to like slowly get you into like the feeling of something's not right. Because let's be honest, this seems nice, but there is something odd about this room. Like it's nothing like I don't know. Like for me, I feel uncomfortable in here, which is good because it means it works. But in the actual game or world, things obviously happen around you in here that will like cause you to feel a bit more unsecure. So, yeah.
First of all, you fucking sadist. Secondly, now if we take now if we take things back about how did you originally get into VRChat?
I started 2020 during the pandemic with COVID and all of that. Because of obviously isolation and all of that, I didn't have the chance to like go outside and like meet people. And I always remembered the VRChat game or like platform. I was like, hey, I could try it. I had no experience with it at all. I had a VR headset already because of Beat Saber back then. I loved the game. I was just super, I don't know, addicted to it. But I never played VRChat before, and I was like, you know what? I think I could try it. And yeah, that's how I started, like with VRChat. And over the time, I made friends, and at some point got into world creation. That's how things started.
And what kind of early memories do you have from the time?
Oh, a lot of bad memories, not gonna lie. Like, I know I started as a mute, technically. I was like in a little Nutella jar avatar, half body, not speaking at all, because I couldn't speak English. I did not have the, like, I don't know, knowledge and didn't know how to say anything. All of the stuff that you hear right now of me saying stuff in English, all of that is just because of VRChat. I learned English through VRChat, technically. But yeah, like it started as mute, and at some point I got a bit more into like speaking, and then I met one of my closest friends, which I'm still friends with, who helped me with a lot of things, and yeah, at some point I just started creating maps with him, and yeah, here we are now. Like, there are many memories, sadly, not any good ones. But yeah, it was an interesting time, that's for sure.
But out of all those memories you had in VRChat, is there any memory which you would see as the best memory or one of the best memories you've had within the time you've been in this game?
The best memory? Oh, that's a good question. The best memory was probably like my first birthday party in VRChat. Like that was very nice. Like everybody came around and like celebrated with us. We played music and stuff, played games. That was probably like my first like really good experience and like memory that I have from back then. But yeah, a lot of things have changed obviously. So yeah, that is probably one of my only good memories from back then.
But at the same time, what world was it in? Like, what world did they host your birthday in, if you remember?
Oh, Um, the first one I don't remember. It was a club world. I
Mm.
didn't even choose the world myself. It was someone else. That was the first birthday. I know the second birthday wasn't drinking night
Mm.
because people like to drink around and all of that party. So we hosted like a event there as well on my second birthday in VRChat. But the first one, I don't really remember the world name anymore. I don't think it exists anymore actually. I haven't seen it since then.
Mm.
But yeah, no, it was a good night. It was like so many cool people that I met that day. A lot of them didn't even join because of me. They joined up someone else, and at the end, or like became my friends as well.
Mm.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. I really liked it. Even my sister that never played VRChat just hopped on VRChat to hang out with us. It was pretty funny.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, I know you
Yeah.
mentioned briefly about what world creation, but how did you start world creation?
Well, I started 2022 with world creation. At the beginning, I just wanted to like do something small because one of my friends, my best friend, he worked on the world in the background, and I was always watching him like stream it on Discord, like working on it. I was actually pretty interested because I've always been like a fan of creating things, being creative, and like doing whatever I want, you know. So I was like, hey, you know what? I want to try it too. So I installed Unity and I started building. My first world was actually like a like a hangout world, like a chill party world. It was called the Party Penthouse. It was public for like a couple of months, maybe 1 year, 1 year and a half. Um, but at some point I decided, hey, I want to get into like the spooky scene of VRChat because I felt there was like not enough spooky content in VRChat. So I decided my luck. But yeah, a lot of things have happened in that point. There was like a lot of stuff going on with the VRChat SDK because back then they used SDK 2 still, which was like different. And I got used to it. And then at some point during the development of my first horror map, which never came out, it was like a Dead Space inspired horror game in VRChat called Code Red. Never came out. And yeah, then at some point during the development, VRChat announced, hey, we're going to get rid of SDK2 and we're going to introduce you to Udon, which was completely new for me. I did not know how to script anything or how to do things. So I was like, yeah, that's probably the end of the development for my maps and stuff, and I'll probably move on. But then I dropped the entire project of Code Red and I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to try something new. So I decided to create a new project called Rec. Rec was my first horror map that I was working on for like a year till 2023. No, not 2023. 2022 still, but like later on, like
Mm.
still. And yeah, like at this point, I got to know like Udon a bit more, and to be fair, it was pretty unoptimized and pretty scuffed. But I just got better and better over time. I teach myself like a lot of things. I never used Blender, for example. I always did stuff inside of Unity. And yeah, at some point I just dropped that project as well because it got too big. I was like, all right, I can't do this. It's going to take me like another year to finish this. So I dropped this project, and my best friend that like kind of brought me into this, told me like, hey, how about we create a project, the two of us together, like a 2 week project. We're going to create something within 2 weeks, and after that, we're just going to make it public. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do that. And this 2 week project turned out to be the Smile Room, which took 7 months at the end. And my friend just hopped out of the project and gave it to me, like so it's just mine at the end. But yeah, he started working on it with me together, and at some point we decided it's going to be a bigger thing because I wasn't happy with it, and I just decided to yeah make it bigger like the first map. And yeah,
Mm.
I just this one was actually the one that I make public at the end, and people really liked that.
Yeah.
And that's how my story continued. So I just kept uploading maps and making stuff. That
And
was it.
what were the inspirations for the Smile Room?
There were a lot of things actually. We were looking through like the internet to find things that could be like interesting or like something scary. And I remember one day, like one night, I was going through like a creepy pasta website. Um, and I found like a picture of the Smile Room. There was actually a creepypasta around it, um, by Trevor Henderson. A lot of people like always think this map is inspired by it, or like it's the story of this creepy creepypasta. But one thing that I only took from it was basically just a picture that I saw. It was this room with the like name Smile Room on top of it, and I was like, "This is cool. I like the name of it. I like the idea of like a room like being like some kind of entity." But I didn't like the idea of Trevor Henderson with like it's the room having like a mouth and like it can eat you or something. I wanted it to be more like a thing, like it, Pennywise the clown, like a shapeshifter, someone that can manipulate your mind, make things weird. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do that. And we decided to work on it. And we took a lot of inspiration from other games or like movies as well. Like I said, it was another big inspiration for it. I watched a lot of movies back then, like a lot of horror movies. But I also played a lot of Backrooms games back then, and I wanted that as well because it was very popular. And I was like, hey, how about we put it all together into one thing, like everything that is popular, kind of, and like make it unique, make it special. And that was the Smile Room at the end. It was like a lot of good ideas put together into one project, and yeah, I think a lot of people can tell like certain things are like very inspired from other movies or games or whatever. There is a lot of like stuff going on in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was how I started.
Now, I know you've made a variety of different characters within the Smile Room, some more traumatic
Mm-hmm.
than others.
Mm-hmm.
However, do you have any particular connections to any of the characters you've made?
Um, I don't really have like a personal connection to them, but a lot of them were like things that I was always scared of, or like things that kind of traumatized me, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the clown. I was always scared of clowns as a child. I didn't like them the way they look and they behave, like this childish, like weirdly uneasy feeling that I got from them. And I was like, a lot of people feel the same way, so I wanted to have this clown in it, which was at the beginning it was just a paid asset from like the Unreal, like the Unity store or whatever. Um, and I wanted to make it more special, so I decided instead of just having a model, I'm gonna have a voice actor for it. I'm gonna give it a personality, and I kind of gave it the personality that I would have if I would have been a clown, because I wanted to be freaky and I wanted to be like scary and like threatening, but also very derpy kind of. Like this character, Funny, that's his name. Very creative, I know, but I thought it was fitting. This character is like I don't know, it has like this childish thing. Like he can be rude, but he can also be super funny and just like derpy and stupid. And people love him because he's kind of different than other clowns, I guess. But yeah, like that was one of my favorite characters of the game, like the map, and I just moved on when like had like other characters like Sunny, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The sun, a lot of people don't like that one because it's very terrifying. But yeah, I remember when I got that one, the model, I was like, oh, I want to have something like interesting, like a game where it's like always watching you, like have big eyes on this thing that always like follow your movement, and if you do something bad, it's gonna get you. And that was one. That one was also like one thing that like kind of like was part of me back then because of the Teletubbies son. That was something that kind of scared me. I never watched Teletubbies as a child, really, but like as a teenager, a lot of people were like making fun of this series and stuff, and I was like searching it up, and I saw this picture of this kid's sun face on it. And I was like, that's terrifying. Something similar like that would be cool. So at some point when I was really like working on the map, I was like, hell yeah, let me try and find something that looks like this. And that's when I found Sunny. Yeah, those are like one of the two characters I like the most about it.
Mm. And have you hidden any Easter, or have you hidden or added any Easter eggs within your worlds?
Easter eggs. I did had Easter eggs in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them I got rid of because certain Easter eggs were for like friends or like people that were close to me. But as time moves by, certain people come and go. So these people were like not part of it anymore, and I had to like delete these Easter eggs to not like keep anything personal, like I don't know, like a memory of them in there. There were Easter eggs for like certain streamers as well on Twitch. Toddlers, for example, back then they were playing the map while they were live on stream, and I was watching the group play the map, and they found a bug and I had to like put something in there for a little bit, like a button that brought them back to the place where they bugged, because they had to like restart the entire map, and I was like, oh, I don't want you to like go through the entire thing again. So I decided to like place a little button there, update the map really quick while they were still streaming. They were waiting for like me to update the map while they were in the world. They were like, oh, can this guy please hurry up? We need to continue the stream. That was like an Easter egg. There was like a little button in the anime store. And yeah, that one was there for like a few weeks. Kind of cool Easter egg. A lot of people found it and took a picture of it and sent it to me. We're like, oh my god, you have this person like as a button in there. I was like, yeah, please don't press it because it's gonna bring you somewhere like further in the map. But yeah, there weren't many Easter eggs, but there were a few. Yeah.
Now, one of your newer maps which you've released is V.R.S. What? Why did you decide to create V.R.S?
V.R.S was an emergency plan, technically, like Plan B. Like, Smile Room Chapter 2 was supposed to come out last year to Spookality. But because the map got much, much bigger than I expected it to get, I had to, like, come up with something fast and something short. So I decided to create V.R.S. V.R.S was like a plan, or like an idea that I had for like a long time. I got that idea shortly after I started working on Chapter 1, actually. And I was like, hell yeah, I want to do this at some point. But I didn't know when to do it, or like when I feel ready for it. But at this point, it felt like a good idea, like a good thing to do, because I didn't want to have nothing for Spookality that year. So I was like, I'm gonna create something, and that was V.R.S. Like V.R.S was basically a Plan B, like a replacement for Chapter 2, and I loved the idea of it. I wanted to have its unique. I wanted to have something that wasn't in VRChat yet. Like V.R.S, I don't think you can see anything similar like V.R.S in VRChat. It was something that hasn't been done yet, and I was really in love with the idea. And I kind of wish I had more time to work on it, because I only had 3 weeks left because Spookality was already running, and I was like, I have to release it at some point. So I was kind of hurrying up and like rushed a bit. That's why I had like an update a couple of months ago, which was fixing all the things that I sadly rushed, added new features and things, made it a bit better. But yeah, V.R.S was more like a Plan B. But I'm very much in love with this map because it's so different compared to all of the other horror maps in VRChat. It's like one of my favorite maps, not gonna lie.
Oh, fair, honestly. But V.R.S, I'm pretty sure from memory, is an anagram, correct?
It has like it has a full name. V.R.S is the Fear, Endurance, and Reaction Survey. I was like looking for a name for a long time. I was like, I want to have something with fear, like fears. At the end of at the beginning, it was just V.R, but a lot of people thought it was like a remake or like a recreation of the actual horror game V.R outside of VRChat. I didn't like that. I was like, I want it to be a bit more special and unique, and I don't want people to like instantly like think that is this thing. I don't want them to think this is just a copy or like a replacement of this game outside of VRChat. So I was thinking, I DM'd a lot of friends like, hey, can you like help me figure out a name for it? I even had like different names like Panic. I don't really know what the full name for it was anymore. I had a lot of names for it. But at the end I came up with like the Fear, Endurance, and Reaction Survey, which I really liked because it was more like a survey. Like you got asked questions and you had to like reply with like answers and stuff. And it was like fears, like you got put into situations, tested how do you react to certain fears, and what is your endurance in it, like when do you hit your limits with certain things, like will you like click the respawn and abort the entire thing, or will you keep going to the end. That was like a thing. Yeah.
Now, I know you briefly mentioned it about in passing about Smile Room 2. I'm sure people are wondering, is there a planned release date for Smile Room 2?
At the moment, no. I decided I won't have a release date until the map is like 100% finished, like basically ready to upload, because I don't want to disappoint people anymore. This map had like, I think 2 release dates already that I had to delay because of certain things, health issues at the last one, for example. So I decided I'm gonna like postpone it for like a time that is not yet decided. All I can say is I'm trying my best to get it out there as fast as possible. I'm only aiming for Halloween or Spookality, but I cannot make any promises. Like, I'm trying my best, but if it doesn't happen, then it won't happen. I just want people to know that, like, it's gonna be worth the time, like the wait and all of that. Like, I'm not gonna rush it again, like Chapter 1 or Fears, because Chapter 1 was very rushed, to be honest, because I ran out of time and I really wanted to upload it for Spookality. Like the entire part with the clown at the end was basically made within a month because I ran out of time. I took so much time and effort into like the entire beginning part of it that I didn't have enough time to like work on the rest. There was never supposed to be a Chapter 2, for example. Chapter 2 is basically just like Chapter 1 was supposed to be one thing, and I decided to cut it in half because it got too big. I didn't have enough time. So Chapter 2 is basically just the sequel, like the last part of it. Yeah, that is it.
However, another question I had from other people is that, and I quote, horrendous son of a bitch coming back?
Maybe. I'm not saying too much, but all I can say is that a few like faces, a few familiar things that you've seen in there will come back. You will see certain things. Maybe you will see the sun, maybe you won't. But I can tell you, like, a lot of things will come back. A lot of things will be a bit different. There will be new enemies, new creatures, new like scary things, new mechanics, new games, all of this stuff. Like, but there will be like a lot of things from Chapter 1 that will be back in the game, but they will be a bit different. That's all I can say. It's not going to be 100% the same. It is going to be different, but it's going to be like a good different. Yeah.
So, if you want to or are willing to, is there anything that you can tease the Smile Room 2?
Technically, I can say the clown is definitely coming back. That's something that probably a lot of people already figured out because of certain like work in progress pictures or a teaser. There was a trailer with the clown like speaking and also being shown.
Yeah.
So a lot of people probably like already thought that was gonna be a thing, but a lot of people also asked if that was a thing, if it's coming back or not. I can tell you now, yes, the clown, funny, will be back for Chapter 2. And he's going to be more scary than ever. Terrifying, this thing. But yeah.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Are there any other projects you're currently working on?
No, not entirely. I was working on like small like private worlds for me and my girlfriend. Like cinematic worlds or like just comfy worlds. But nothing that I actually wanted to make public. This world was one I was working on. I'm not really working on it right now because I kind of stopped. The one was supposed to come out like a couple of months ago, but I had issues with certain things, so I couldn't really work on it or continue working on it. I will at some point make this one public. Maybe when the video comes live, this one is already public. It's gonna be a random time. Like I just gonna have to press upload basically. But yeah, I don't really have any other projects right now. I have plans for future projects, but I'm not gonna like announce anything yet because obviously you never know what's gonna happen next. So yeah, I just say like there's a lot of new stuff coming, hopefully very soon.
No, fair. However, on top of that, for those looking to maybe expand their reach or test the waters with horror map VRChat making, what do you look for when designing horror experiences?
What do I look for?
Yeah, so
Like
is it like atmosphere? Is it kind of lighting? Is it the characters? Is it kind of the scares themselves?
it's a bit of all of it. Like it always depends on what kind of genre you're going for. Like for me, I'm a big fan of psychological horror. Psychological horror plays a lot of like it has a lot of atmosphere. It plays with your mind. You don't get jump scared or like you don't get chased that often. It's more like you expect it, but it keeps you like expecting it. Like nothing happens, but like it keeps you on this like tension. It like builds it up, and at some point when it's like when you're already like not expecting it anymore because it took too long. Like, okay, it's not gonna happen. At this point, it hits you. And yeah, that's what I'm, for example, doing most of the time. Like I'm trying to create psychological horror, and like a lot of like important parts about it are sound, atmosphere, lighting, but also yeah, the creatures and basically all of it. All of it is very important. Certain maps, obviously, like for example, if you want to go with something more intense, like gore and blood and like slasher stuff, it depends on the genre that you're like aiming for. But for psychological stuff, I can definitely tell like atmosphere is like key, including sound. Like you have to have good sound in your map, otherwise it doesn't work. Like you can have the craziest like graphics, like the best atmosphere. Without sound, your map is not spooky at all, and it won't work. It's just nothing.
Mm. No, it's solid advice, honestly, on the whole.
Mm.
You can work with any worlds realistically if you just tweak the kind of
Yeah, you
vibe
can
you're going
technically
for.
make any world. Exactly, you can make it like any world technically a horror map. You just have to like know how like play with effects, like visual effects. Use like sounds and stuff. You could technically have like a random sound system. Spoilers, chapter 2, that like plays around you, and you don't know if it's actually like something that is like coming towards you, or if it's just like a random sound that like I don't know, like a door slam next to you. There could be like things like that. Those are very important for atmosphere.
Now, if you weren't doing horror map making for VRChat, what do you think you would be doing in VRChat?
Probably nothing. Like, I was never interested in like creating avatars, to be honest. I was never really into like DJing or like anything like that. Even if I did stuff like that in the past, but I was never like fully like thinking of, hey, I should do this as like a full hobby in VRChat. I would probably just like hang out with my community, my friends, and that would be it. Explore worlds probably, but there was nothing else that really actually interested me in it, like creative wise. Just like having a good time, technically socializing, being friends with people, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, perfectly fair. If we move to more of personal kind of questions, everyone
hmm
in VRChat has their own unique design, their unique style, which they kind of slowly update and change over time. How did you come up with your design, which you represent yourself in?
My design, you mean like in worlds or like
Your
avatar
avatar,
wise? Like
your personal avatar.
my avatar. um, I back then I used to be the so-called e-boy in groups. Like that's how I like things mostly started. As I said, like the first avatar I was using was basically a Nutella jar avatar, like a cute little chibi kind of Nutella jar. And then things got a bit more mature, I guess. Like I started speaking, and like I also got full body at some point, and people said, "Hey, you should like use like this kind of avatar." So I was like, "Hey, you know what? Maybe this fits to me." And so I did. I had like an e-boy, which was not very like the kind of muscular one. I didn't like that. I liked skinny ones that were more like me IRL. So I used these ones, and at some point I was like, I don't think that really fits to me because the entire like locomotion on the avatar was like a bit scuffed, and it felt like it wasn't really my body anything. And I knew a lot of people told me like that small like female avatars were like much more comfy to wear, um, because they're like very like flexible, and they have like much more like I don't know how to say it. Like they were just better to like use. They were more comfy to wear. At the beginning, it was a bit uncomfortable for me because I never really like played like any games where I was like a female character or anything. So it was a bit weird to like see me with like all of this stuff. I was like, I don't know if that's really me. And then at some point, I got this avatar. It's made by Cupcake, I think. Very nice avatar. I like the avatar. But like the way it was looking was still like not me, so I made some changes to it. I didn't change much, obviously. Like this one, like if you look at me and like people that know the avatar, they will definitely recognize this one. They will be like, oh yeah, that's a Cupcake avatar. But I definitely changed a lot of things over time. Like added my name on things, had tattoos over that were like more spooky themed. I cannot show them because my avatar would get a bit more lewd, I guess. But I added like different eye colors. Like I have like like Pennywise themed eyes, like the orange stuff. I added new ears and stuff, and I really like that. I was at some point, um, I was thinking like if I would represent an animal, what would it be? And I asked my girlfriend, and she was like, probably like a silver fox. I was like, oh, I like that. I like foxes are cute, and I like them. And I just decided I'm gonna go with the flow because I saw a picture of a silver fox that looked exactly like his avatar technically. Had like orange glowing eyes. I think it was an edit or something on Google.
Mm.
But it was super cute. I was like, I want that. I think that like that was gonna be my theme. And I always liked like black and white style. It is simple and it is cool. It's always modern. Always goes with the flow. So that was me, and I decided to use it, keep using it, and I'll probably not change this avatar in forever because this is me.
Yeah.
Mm.
No. If you could name one game out of all the games you've played, what game would you say is your favorite game?
In VRChat or outside?
Both.
Both. Outside of VRChat, my favorite game. Ooh, that's a good question actually. I think it would be Outlast Trials. At the moment, it's Outlast Trials. I just love like the graphics, the gameplay. It's super fun to play. I even have ideas to like recreate something similar for VRChat one day maybe, because that would be very cool and unique. At least in VRChat and VR, like having this as a VR thing would be crazy. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite game at the moment that I play. Inside of VRChat, I don't really play like game worlds or like games in VRChat that much. I'm more like the hey, I'm hanging out with my small group and we just have a good comfy time. But if I would have to say, I would probably say like maybe Taco Room, like these kind of maps, like funny short horror maps. I like horror. I like horror maps. I like a lot of them. Like there are a lot of good ones out there. So I like to explore them, but I don't really have a favorite. Like it's more like this is a good one, and this one too, and stuff. Like I don't really have a favorite world in VRChat.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of mixed variety within the game, so you can certainly find what either fits your taste or things that you just enjoy being around. But
exactly.
something which probably isn't brought up as much, but I'm at least aware of. I'm aware you have a SoundCloud. How did you get into working?
A SoundCloud.
Yeah, SoundCloud. How did you get into
Yeah.
start working on mixtapes?
That was a fun story. One of my coworkers, IRL, is like a DJ, and he does like DJ events. And he was like, "Hell yeah, you should definitely try it." And one day he like invited me over to his house and like showed me all his DJ equipment. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I like it. It's pretty nice." So I bought me like a little version of this DJ equipment as well, and I wanted to mix something. And at the end, I liked it a lot. I was like, "Hell yeah, you know what? I want to do that." That was before like I started creating worlds actually. And then at some point I created worlds. The Party Panda was like my first world, like the Hangout world. I wanted to have a soundtrack for it, like a mixtape or something. Because I know a lot of worlds, like Party Worlds, had that kind of stuff. Drinking Night, for example, very famous mixtape. I was like, I want to have something similar, and I was like creating this trap music mixtape, and I really liked it. And at some point, I got over to like different genres and stuff, and I just tried out like things out. I kind of stopped doing that, to be honest, but I still do it sometimes. Like if someone would ask me, like a friend would ask me, like, "Hey, can you like do me like a mixtape for me?" I would definitely do it. Like I think it's super fun. Right now I'm like focusing on other things, obviously, like world design and creating my chapter 2. But after that, I will probably get into it again a bit more.
Yeah. Speaking of working on the bits, on various little bits, what keeps you motivated to do the work you do?
Probably my girlfriend. Like the community as well, obviously. Like the feedback that I get from all of the people that play my stuff, it always pushes me. There was a time where I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, and I wanted to quit before I started working on chapter 2. And also before V.R.S. Like there would have been multiple times where I was like, I don't really know if I want to do this anymore because certain things like didn't really seem right. But I always had someone, if it was my girlfriend or like other community members that were like, hey, you should definitely not give up and keep doing what you enjoy. So I decided, hey, you know what? I will do it for you because,
Mm.
you're right. I should not give up. I should just keep going. And all of these people, like, they had so many nice feedbacks all the time. Were like, hey, I can't wait to see what you're doing next. Like, your stuff is amazing and all of that. And it just made me super happy. And yeah, that just keeps me going. Like,
Mm.
the feedback of people, like people liking it, and it just makes me super happy to see that my stuff entertains them and keeps them happy.
Yeah, for certain. Now, everyone in the life kind of has that dream project they want to work on or something they want to do. Might be VRChat related, might not be, depends on the person. Is there any
Hmm.
dream projects you'd like to work on?
My dream project. I don't really have a dream project right now. Well,
Mm.
obviously Smile Room was like one of them, like chapter 2 now. After chapter 1, I wanted to like definitely have chapter 2. Um, Dream project. I want to have something like outside of VRChat one day, like my own horror game.
Mm.
I want to move on. Obviously, VRChat is like it's nice and stuff, but I want to like get people outside of VR as well. Like involve them in VR stuff. I think there are not enough VR horror games out there outside of VRChat, so I would definitely want to work on that kind of stuff as well. So that's one of my goals, but I don't really have like a dream project at the moment that I really want to do.
Mm. Ah, that's completely fair. Things change, as things go, so no worries.
Exactly. Hmm.
I have a feeling you've kind of half answered this one, so I suspect you can kind of go figure the answer to it. However, who has or is inspiring you to do what you do?
Inspiring me. Um, Nobody really. Like I never had like a big idol I was looking up to.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, sure, I have people that like motivated me to like do that stuff. But like inspiration wise, like trying to like be like someone or like do something similar like them, that was never like a thing that I had. Sure, there were creators that I really like the content of, but I don't want to copy someone's work or like people.
Obviously.
So I always wanted to be myself, kind of,
Mm.
if you know what I mean. I wanted to be something unique. So I never really had like a full idol. Like there are a lot of amazing creators out there. A lot of people are very talented with what they do. But that's them. That's their like talent and stuff. Um, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just a small person that has fun doing what I like to do.
Mm.
Never like looking up to anybody. I just do my thing. Yeah.
No, perfectly fair. Now, to kind of wrap things up and close things off together,
Mhm.
a question I always try to ask to people is there anyone you would suggest for me to interview in the future?
Rickshaw, for sure. If you
Mm.
haven't done already, Rickshaw. Maybe Lakuza, for example. Great world creator as well. I know they're currently working on like I think sci-fi action adventure map, Bullet Time Agent, I think it's called.
Mm.
Very cool. I really like to see more of that at some point and maybe get to know like a bit more about it. Um, I don't know. Like it depends on like what kind of interview it should be. Like if it should be about world creators or like the creators. There are a lot of cool people out there that definitely should like get interviewed. There are like streamers, for example, that you could interview, like Darren Zeus, for example, very well-known content creator on Twitch, where you like creating funny avatars, memeing around, goofing around people, scaring them and stuff. That would be perfect, for example, as well. There are a lot of people.
Mm.
I could probably like list a bunch of them, but yeah, like that would probably never end that list.
No,
Hmm.
that's fair. I
Yeah,
appreciate it nonetheless. But thank you for
yeah.
watching. Thank you, Cripsy, for your time. It's always much appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
It's been
Hmm.
wonderful. I hope you all enjoyed, found it very insightful on the whole. And I wish you all a lovely day and or evening, depending on your time. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye bye.